So Alex Karp was in England today, the United Kingdoms. He had an interview with BBC, and get that nasty image out of your mind, you naughty, naughty people. It's not the BBC you think I'm talking about. And it's about an 8-minute video. Really, really good.
And welcome to the best of today. How can artificial intelligence be harnessed for the good of humanity, but developed and used in a way that is safe and secure? That question posed by Rishi Sunak is going to be the focus of a global AI summit, which he says Britain will host this autumn. The Prime Minister's in Washington today, meeting Joe Biden at the White House. They're going to discuss AI, in particular, how they deal with what he describes as the technology's most significant risks. Now, there are real challenges for Britain in leading the way on AI because the big trading blocs, the United States, the EU, make the rules alongside, of course, China. But Rishi Sunak says, even though we're a mid-sized country, we have some advantages, which is why he's pleased that Palantir Technologies, a huge American company which specializes in big data analytics, has said that it's moving its AI business, its European headquarters at least, to London. Now, Palantir's core business has been supplying intelligence agencies and the military. It's done important work in Ukraine. It is, though, now doing more and more work with the NHS. I've been speaking to Palantir's chief executive, Alex Karp, about the summit. I asked him how he reacted to calls by Elon Musk and others for a pause in AI research.
Many of the people asking for a pause are asking for a pause because they have no product. So it's very, very important for England. The United Kingdom is in a unique position to play a leader in Europe, perhaps even globally. But it's also because people who have nothing to offer want to study this. And studying this and allowing other people to win, both on commercial areas and on the battlefield, I think is a really bad strategy.
It's interesting that you've talked in the past of trebling down. You talk of the West having an advantage. That will sound to many people like you want an AI race in the way that we in the past have had arms races.
We already have an AI race. It's just we're ahead. Because it's not like if we slow down, the AI race will stop. You know, the single most important event in the whole AI trajectory that galvanized it is not even large language models. It's what the Ukrainians did on the battlefield. And once the Ukrainians changed targeting by a matter of, according to British newspapers, 20 to 50x, that just throws down a gauntlet. Every single country in the world, especially our adversaries, they cannot afford for us to have this advantage. And so the race is on. There's only a question of, do we stay ahead or do we cede the lead?
To be clear, your company, Palantir, specialized initially in the use in the military sphere. Do you believe your technology is giving a significant advantage on the battlefield to Ukraine?
Well, the Ukrainians have publicly said that software they use is giving them a massive target advantage. It's been reported in the British press that software is ours. And it's also been reported that there's a 20 to 50x difference. 20 to 50x is the difference between winning and losing as, slaughtering Goliath as David, or losing.
How then do we combine your sense that we have to continue this, otherwise our adversaries will overtake us, with the sense that there should be a global summit on what? Regulation or voluntary restraint or what?
The large language models are super interesting because actually, and this is something that I don't think is understood, it's actually the processing, taking the reasoning that can replicate millions of human hours in seconds or minutes. There are some limitations to it currently. It's only 80% accurate. There's no memory. There's no ability to track how they got to the decisions or right reasoning they got to. They're particularly bad at math. The enhancing of these large language models requires refinement, that when it's then built into a more reliable algorithm can be analyzed across data sets that can be tracked and understood, not just by me and technical experts, but by the average European, British citizen or citizens of the world. And that, what's called technically alignment, or what most people would call safety, these things are only valuable if you can use them in a way that is actually understood to yourself, whether it's a business or security or a third party, And that's where discussions of safety and alignment come in. And it's really important for the United Kingdom to take the lead, because as a unique role, as a recognized country in rule of law, transparency, pragmatic, but serious attitudes towards data protection.
And to be clear, given that laws can take 2-3 years longer to come in, and we don't have that sort of time, you're talking of voluntary codes of conduct based essentially on transparency, that companies will be clear about what they can and can't do.
Yeah. So there's a huge debate in the civil liberties community now, and most people selling large language models want a separate kind of legislation that maybe takes years and maybe doesn't happen. I think more realistically, what will happen, and where the United Kingdom, I think, can and will play a huge role, is using current legislation in each particular area to guide and limit the use of large language models in a safe but pragmatic way.
Now, you've said the UK's got an important role. There are some who say, well, look, the UK is a tiddler in this great global race. I mean, the United States matters, the EU matters, China matters. What can the UK achieve when it's up against those huge trading blocks?
First of all, the UK is a bastion in the world for attracting talent. The educational institutions are some of the best in the world. I've seen this over the course of building a business that's viewed as a leader. Also, the United Kingdom, as opposed to many places in the world, has a pragmatic understanding of data protection, meaning data protection is serious, but you could actually work within the context of what large language models do. It's going to be much, much harder for the continent of Europe to actually come to terms with large language models. Also, even culturally, the culture of privacy in the UK is really built around norms of fairness and understanding, and less around GDPR data protection, although that will be very important. And we as Palantir can work in conformity with that. But there's a general understanding in the United Kingdom that you need data, you need to be able to understand the data to actually do important things, both in the government and in the private sector. And so if you're a pharmaceutical company and you want to do research on a medicine, you're going to be able to do things in the United Kingdom you would not be able to do easily in the continent. You're going to have talent that is the best in the world, and you have a pragmatism about technology, and you have a very special relationship with the most important country in the world on AI by far now, the United States of America.
Now, your company has played a role in the NHS already. It helped to track vaccines. It helped to track PPE during the pandemic. There are some who worry that the reason a big US data giant wants to move to the UK is they want to get their hands on all that data that the NHS has, perhaps the largest single set of data in European healthcare.
You know, people who worry about data protection are rational to worry about data protection. They're super important issues. What's happening with the data? Is the data being moved? Is the data being monetized? How is data transferred? Fortunately for us at Palantir, we have a 20-year experience of answering those questions in a product in a transparent way in the most sensitive environments in the world. Because
you don't think people have anything to fear?
Well, no, I think I think people should fear these things, and you need technical solutions.
Now, the language that's been used in this debate overall about AI, some have seen as hyperbolic, the talk of extinction and the rest. Can I ask you a question I've asked most people I've interviewed about this subject who know a whole lot more than I do? Are you sleeping well at night?
I sleep very well at night because I believe before we get to the perhaps non-hyperbolic danger that is real, we are likely to vanquish our adversaries and make the world a better place that respects the rule of law, respects borders, respects human rights, respects data privacy, and respects countries that have represented those rights for the longest period of time in history, like the United Kingdom.
Alex Karp, Chief Executive of Palantir Technologies. Thank you for talking to us.
Thank you for your time.
All right. First and foremost, I wanted to shout out Rohit Jagia. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. Thank you so much for becoming a channel member. This coffee is on you. Thank you for buying me a cup of coffee and appreciating all the work I put into this channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Channel membership, $3 a month. YouTube takes $1. I get $2. Thank you. Also, shout out to the 101 people in this live. thank you very, very much for rocking out. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. Rahid, thank you. I appreciate it, man. I'm glad that whatever content I give you is worth $3. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you. Okay, so that was that interview right here. And basically, this interview, it seems like it's setting Palantir up for the NHS contract. That's what it just seemed like to me. That's what I'm thinking. Now, there's a lot of other stuff that currently happened in the news. A tweet came out earlier, and it says, as we establish the United Kingdoms as our European headquarters for AI development, we're pleased to participate in the first global summit of artificial intelligence safety announced by Prime Minister Rishi Sunak. And we can read this. And this is what it says, right? This is the press release. And as always, I love to use ChatGPT. So instead of reading this entire thing, I am going to copy it. And I am going to do this. I'm going to go into ChatGPT. And I am going to say, can you please summarize this? Please focus on anything Palantir and AI. I am a Palantir YouTuber doing a live, so I want to explain this article to my peoples. Thank you. All right, so let's read what the article actually says, okay? This comprehensive article covers the upcoming global summit of AI safety hosted by the United Kingdoms and the roles different AI organizations and countries will play in ensuring responsible AI development. Among these organizations, Palantir, a US tech giant, is also prominently mentioned. So Palantir is not the only company mentioned, but Palantir is a prominently mentioned company. I will be doing the Shyam tweet right after this one, so stick around. Palantir, known for its data processing architecture serving numerous critical global enterprises and institutions, has announced that it will make the UK its new European headquarters for AI development. This comes amidst an acknowledgement of strength and potential of the UK's AI expertise. Palantir already employs over 800 people in the UK. Some people asked, does Palantir already have an office in the UK? Palantir does have an office in the UK, but now they're making the UK office officially the office for all Europe for Palantir headquarters. Does that make sense? Like it's the regional office for the European Union, for Europe, in the UK. The CEO of Palantir, Alex Karp, emphasized the significance of institutions effectively leveraging recent advancements in AI, especially large language models, as this could determine their long-term success and survival. He expressed his pride in extending Palantir's partnership with the UK, highlighting London as an attractive location for the world's best software engineering talent, and thus a natural choice for the European efforts to develop ethical and efficient AI solutions. So it seems to me they have their UK office, and they're building a brand new office for a headquarters of Europe. That's what it seems like to me. I also believe that this is gearing towards Palantir getting the NHS contract. This move aligns with the broader context of the UK's leading role in AI, given its ranking as the third largest AI powerhouse globally, only behind the US and China. It also complements the UK's recent proactive measures to ensure AI safety and responsible development, such as setting out a blueprint for the AI development, launches of expert task forces backed by significant funding, and announcing upcoming global summits in AI safety. In addition to the Prime Minister's meeting with President Biden, the article also mentions the expansions of scholarships programs to enhance shared expertise in STEM subjects between the UK and the US, further strengthening their leadership in future technologies, including AI. Nice, right? So it's no coincidence that Alex Karp has an interview with BBC. Get that thought out of your minds, you nasty, nasty people. BBC is a national news platform in the UK. Stop being naughty. And at the same time, this publication comes out on the same exact day.